Hey everybody, welcome to Geek Bait episode 12. Yes, it's 1 year into our wonderful little experiment of a podcast. And once again, I'm very happy to welcome Retro Chef Lee and Nerdy Geezer Lee. Retro Chef, how are you, sir?
Very well. I'm going to say this again. I can't believe we have not been dragged off the airwaves because the way Lee Nerdy Geezer swears sometimes, it puts me to shame. I can't believe it.
You're the only one who's ever sworn on this. I've been good.
I know. You're fair play. Martin's terrible. The things that Martin says.
That's what I was going to say. That the listeners are lucky that I host the podcast, because if you were hosting it, Chef, it would be for an 18+ audience only. Well, no, probably not even that. Probably sailors only. Probably only sailors could listen to this.
You know, like the old brown bag movies when they're all passed around. You can't watch them in the cinema because there's just too much violence.
Yes. How's life been treating you, Chef? You all right?
Yeah, mate. I've just been really busy. Been helping one of my good friends out. He's obviously a chef as well. I'm not a part-time builder or nothing, but he's taken over a really prestigious golf club. He runs the franchise for the food, and it's just crazy busy. And every weekend he's been busy. He's even busy the next month, which I said to him I need some time because the house is one room away from being done, which is fantastic. Wow. And then it's the games room, so which is all sorted. Like hello, sir.
How many years have you been doing that house now?
I've lived here now technically 1 year, 4 months.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was over a year now.
Yeah. And I can hear Dory. Dory's downstairs and she's shouting because I'm upstairs and she can hear me talking. So I can hear her. Okay. You won't hear her. I can hear her. Yeah. Busy. All good.
That sounds very exciting, mate. So you've been hand making vol au vents all weekends, and sausage.
I worked late last night till about 10:30, from like 7 o'clock in the morning start. I'm really good at desserts. Funny that, isn't it? So pastries and stuff, making cakes. That's what I can do all of it, but that's where I've always been really good at doing anything with pastry and stuff. So I was making lemon tarts, creme brulees, bagel tarts, Oreo cheesecakes, like all mini stuff, because we had loads of like finger food jobs going on today for a golfing event. So yeah, just been, as well as eating them, been making them as well. So yeah,
nice. So can you make a wicked angel delight?
Angel delight is like god level tier. We don't even use that in the school. We use something called wibble mousse. It's another one, like it's because it hasn't got certain stuff in it like angel delight has or whatever.
Angel delight, that is peak. Butterscotch angel delight, you can't beat it.
Yeah, butterscotch.
No, you can't. You can't.
Do you make Do you make school custard though? The proper lumpy custard you used to get at school. Do you make that?
No. So I'll tell you something quick. I'll tell you something quickly funny. When I first got to this school, everything was proper school dinners. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I taught them how to like blend their custard, how to make it properly. And then now we do pink custard, because I think Martin was saying something about pink custard before.
You got have pink custard, mate. That's the thing.
I keep meaning to take the picture when we do it to send it to you. But yeah, just we've upped the game. Let's just say that. Let's just say that.
I'll tell you, them kids better hope you never leave them.
Yeah, I've probably got another 2 years there. I've got a plan in my head. I want to do another 2 years, and then we'll see where we go in it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's all good.
Nice. Oh, jolly good. Yeah, I don't know what they put in Angel Delight. There must be some sort of crack in it or something, because it is very Moorish, but I don't know.
That's like Pringles, though, isn't it? You once you open them, you can't stop eating them. I'm telling you.
Can I give you? I'll give you something scary. When you got a second, have a look how much potato is in a Pringle.
Oh, I imagine it's probably a bare minimum.
So what? Yeah, we're eating. I don't know what. Anyway, sorry, Martin. Please carry on with the podcast.
It probably recently saw a potato, and that's about as close as a Pringle's gotten to a potato. Is it? It brushed past one once.
That's like all this processed stuff, though, isn't it? None of it's really real food, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
It's there to survive the nuclear holocaust when it happens. You know, we'll be eating Pringles,
Twinkies. Here's a thought for our listeners, right? Look at how many burgers McDonald's sell, right? And then work out how many cows are on the planet. Because I'm telling you now, there ain't enough cows for the amount of burgers they sell. So you've got to ask yourself, what are them burgers made out of?
Right, that's it. You're on McDonald's hit list.
and then go and watch the movie Snowpiercer and work out how the front of the train gets fed by the back of the train, and then go exact what's happening to McDonald's burgers. There you go.
True story.
Excellent. Nerdy Geezer Lee, how are you, my good friend?
Not too bad. Been a bit rough for last week. There's something going around. Funny enough, we was talking about it, weren't we, Martin, a little while ago. There's something going around because about 3 or 4 people now, including yourself, Martin, have been saying that they've been feeling a bit groggy and dizzy spells and things like that. And I've had that, as well as like just all the sort of symptoms of flu, but no actual no runny nose sort of thing. I've had all the rest of it, but not that part of it. It's very odd. There's something going around. I felt pretty rough the last week, but today I'm actually feeling like relatively normal, if there is such a thing with me. So
good stuff.
I don't feel too bad today.
Nice. I think it's called old age.
I refuse to accept that.
I turned the ripe old age of 46 last weekend, and
wow!
Since then I've had backache and earache and dizziness, and I'm like, oh well, that's it. I'm officially over the hill. Maybe, I don't know. But I know, Chef, you're looking at me and thinking, how is that guy at 46?
You've at least got to be 45 tops.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. That's what I thought. That's what I was going for. That's the look I'm trying to achieve. That sort of 45-year-old middle-aged man.
Do you know what's really funny? Like when we were young, and our uncles or granddads were 45, 50, they look really old.
Yes.
And how now, like we're all in our 40s, but we don't. I mean, I don't think I look old, other than a bit of grey. But it is so funny how I remember like my granddad being in his mid to late 50s, looking like he's ready for the grave, and we're all good, like just I don't know.
Do you know what I don't understand? Right, is that we work more now than they probably did.
Oh, 100%.
And I also think that don't get me wrong, they didn't have it easy. You had loads of stuff going on with them guys, but for us, we're under, I think, probably more stress now, right? Because a lot of people now get signed off with stress or on antidepressants. It's a much more common thing to be stressed out, right, these days. So really, we should look like a million years older than them. To be honest, I don't understand why we don't. It's weird, isn't it? It's very weird.
Yeah, the counter argument to that is, I would say, we have cushier jobs in some of us. Like, I have a pretty cushy job compared to what my grandparents would have done and my dad would have done out in all weathers, doing all sorts of things. So probably I'm not as weathered as my dad and grandparents would have been. And I do think some people that do get signed off with various things, maybe shouldn't be, and should I don't think our grandparents and parents maybe cried off as much. I think they probably took it on the chin and bottled it up. Maybe that wasn't healthy either, but they certainly worked through all conditions, didn't they? So it's a bit of both, I think. It's an interesting thought for sure. I do remember thinking that people in their sort of, like, when you're a kid, you look at someone who's in their 40s or 50s and you go, my God, they're so old.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you're
right. Do you remember Beverly Hills Cop, your character Taggart, right?
Yeah.
In that film, I think he's meant to be in his 30s, if I remember right. That's how old he was. He looks about 50 odd. Like, what is going on there?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I found out how old he was when he did that film. I was like, no. Like, he's already got a receding hairline in that, hasn't he? Like, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, we'll move on from age, is your brain definitely doesn't grow as fast as your body. Like, my brain isn't 46 years old. I still think I'm like a young kid and can do all the things I could always do. It's just the body disagrees with the brain sometimes, when you think you can't do these things. So
that's a man thing. That's a man thing, Martin. We're all like that. I'm telling you now, it's ingrained in every bloke. I'm telling you.
Yeah. We went down to the beach at the weekend for my birthday, and there were some big old rocks, and I was like, "Oh, I can climb these rocks," and I climbed to the top of these rocks. And when I got up there, I went, "Oh, I don't like this. How do I get down? What do I do?" I felt like a cat stuck in a tree. I was like, "I'm not sure I can get back down from these rocks without hurting myself." So, yeah, your brain is going to lead yourself to some dangerous places sometimes.
I had this moment
very good.
like you about 10 years ago when the boys got skateboards, right? Because I used to be an avid skateboarder. I was pretty good on them. And I remember when they got their skateboards, I was like, oh, I'll be able to play with them. This will be fun. Got on one. I swear I nearly broke my neck. I was like, what is going on? Like, how have I forgot how to do this? Like, what's going on here? Like, and that moment, I suddenly realized, no, man, I'm old now. Like,
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the brain and the body definitely separate over time, don't they? One of them doesn't age as fast as the other. That is 100% the case.
Yeah.
And I always remember, again, you always joke with your parents about that, but you just get there. I'm exactly the same as what my dad was, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. But hey, it was a nice birthday, nice to spend time with the family and stuff. Because as they all grow up, they're all starting to move in their different directions now. So anytime we can get everyone together and spend family time together is always very, very nice. So yes, had a very, very nice birthday, and yeah, all good. Right, well, let's jump into our first topic of the day. And I thought our first topic today might as well be what this has all been about. So we are officially 1 year into the podcast. If I could do poppers and banners and stuff, I would do, but that doesn't really help people that are listening on audio. Just imagine poppers and banners going off. So yeah, I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on things, and what you've liked, what you've not liked, the whole process of creating it, the content within it, just to get some general thoughts really of what you've thought about the podcast. And if you are listening, this would be one of those times if you've never commented before, you've never sort of reached out before, I'd love to hear what you think of the podcast over the past 12 months, and just get your thoughts, both good and bad. And that's absolutely, both. I love feedback regardless of whether it's positive or negative, because that's something I can do something with. But yeah, Chef, I come to you first. Like, how have you found the past sort of 12 months of us podcasting?
I've really enjoyed it, and I think what makes it, this is corny alert, this is what makes it really good, is that I think that the three of us, we are good friends, and I think we all bounce off each other differently, which is great. We're all three different people, which I think when you got a podcast, if we all like, yeah, we all agree, then it's boring. We've all got our opinions, and I think if anything, it's probably brought us three more together. If that we're close anyway, but I think I've enjoyed doing this, and yeah, okay, it's been a bit interesting to get us all together. But then, like you always say, Martin, we all live three different jobs. I'm an early starter, earlier finish. Lee's a late starter, a late finish, if that makes sense. And Martin, you're just lazy. And so, no, I mean, like, sorry, but no, it's been great. It's been really good. We've been to events together. We've met up, and we're going to meet up in Christmas time. I really enjoyed this time because obviously I get a bit more time off over Christmas and stuff. So I'm looking forward to coming down to see you. Maybe even the next 2 weeks, I'll try and get down to see you too. But as much as I've enjoyed the podcast, I've enjoyed it. It's been us three, but the podcast has been awesome. We had some great interaction, some great shout outs by people. It's just been really good. I've really enjoyed it. I not that I didn't expect to do this I just didn't know where this was going to go, if that makes sense. Because you never know, do you? When you first start YouTube, for example, you never know where it's going to go anyway. You just hope that you make like a small group of people kind of watch your stuff, and you can bounce off them and comment with them and maybe meet up with them and stuff. And this is exactly what this has done. This has just grown our relationship as friends, and it's also showed people that what we like is completely different than other podcasts do, and we're a little bit more real, if that's the right word to be using, should I say.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But thank you,
no,
Martin. Thank you for this opportunity on your great channel. I appreciate it. And thank you, Nerdy Geezer, for being ever so humble.
He's off on one now, Martin. What you done?
No, let me just get a tissue. Let me just get a tissue.
Nerdy Geezer, what about yourself?
I'll be honest, this is always the highlight of the month for me because obviously we talk all the time anyway, but you know, we all have similar hobbies. I mean, some of them are slightly different. Like obviously you're more into your tabletop, Martin, than obviously us two are. But nevertheless, it's still interesting to see and hear about it, you know. So
Yep.
So this is the thing. I always look forward to it because this is the thing, right? I imagine people probably have already worked this out when they listen to the podcast. You'll notice none of this is forced because this is how we are all the time. It's just that for a couple of hours every month, you hear us having a conversation that we would normally have on WhatsApp pretty much.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is, isn't it? You know, and so when you listen to this and you hear how we react and interact with each other, this is what we're like all the time. It's just that obviously in WhatsApp, you're bouncing messages backwards and forwards. We're not all talking on the same thing at the same time. So, yeah, and I think that's why it works because, you know, like Chef said, we are all friends. We are good friends. We talk every day. But there's also the fact that, you know, like I say, none of it's forced. It's organic. This is generally what we are like, you know. I mean, when we do meet up in person, we pretty much don't stop talking, do we? We're all going the whole time. So, you know, I remember like a couple of times I've been down to you, Martin. I've gone down to do something with you, and we've ended up chatting the whole time, haven't we? You know, I mean, that's happened a few times.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever actually done the thing we've like. If we've said, "Oh, we'll meet up and we'll play some games or something or do whatever," that's never actually happened. We end up just, you know, chewing the fat for a couple of hours and then going, "Oh yeah, we didn't actually do the thing we set out to do." So, yeah, and that's kind of like what I really like about this is that it is. Whilst I hope people listen and get entertainment from it, I actually just genuinely enjoyed grabbing you two for a conversation every month, you know, because it's the same reasoning for why I talk about things like Monday Night Retro and stuff. It's if I didn't do Monday Night Retro, like because I haven't done it for a few weeks now, I haven't played much retro gaming because I haven't had the time to do it and therefore I haven't done that. And if we didn't have this, my worry would be, yeah, we'd talk on WhatsApp and we'd be back and forth, but this is actually genuinely not because we carve out the time to say, no, let's sit down and have a genuine conversation with each other about our hobbies and what we've been up to in the last month and stuff like that. And hopefully that's entertaining enough that people want to listen in. It serves a double purpose. It helps our friendship grow and our bonds build, but also provides an entertaining conversation for people to listen into and hopefully maybe spark their own conversations or get them in the comments or introduce them to part of the hobbies that they've not thought of before. So I think that's really good. And I can attest to the fact that there's no script involved whatsoever. I have a document that basically has about 6 headings in it of things we're probably going to cover. And the rest of it is, let's see what happens when we turn the mics on and away we go. So, yeah, I think it's been great fun. Like I said, I think this was a bit of an experiment. I'm the same as you, Chef. I didn't know if we would would we peter out over 4 or 5 episodes and then just go, you know, it's not really worth it, or would we reach 12? Will we reach 24 or 36? I don't know. But at the moment, I'm still really enjoying doing it, and I hope we can continue because I think there's, you know, we certainly have some people that enjoy listening to it, so that's great, you know. And we'll just see how that continues. Yeah. So, Ned, do you want to say anything else?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I mean, plans for the future really around this. I have had some comments to say, hey, you guys should do it more often. You know, almost go to weekly or every other week. My response to that's going to be, it's really tough. Right? Not any of us. The 3 of us on this call, we all have very different lives in how we work. And you alluded to that, Chef, right? The types of roles that we have and the jobs that we have are very different. So actually finding a time that works for the 3 of us, I think if we tried to do that weekly, 1, we'd fail, and 2, we'd probably start to annoy each other, and that might be a negative, a negative on the podcast, because we'd feel that pressure, and it moves from being something we genuinely enjoy to almost like a secondary job. Like, I know podcasts that run every single week, and they must have to put in a lot of effort. One, to find content to talk about. So that means you've probably got to cover current news, and you've got to do research into those things to really get yourself prepared to talk about it every single week. So that adds hours to your preparation time. But also then carve out 1 to 2 hours every single week in our busy lives to be able to do this. So I think we will continue to do the monthly podcast, because I think it suits us all. And also, I think we've got loads to talk about in that month rather than going to a weekly. I don't know if you guys agree with that sort of sentiment. And yeah,
I think so. Because, I mean, obviously, the last couple have been more of a struggle for us all to be around at the same time, haven't they? So I think that would only worsen if we was doing it like weekly or fortnightly, you know. Yeah, and like you say, it would then stop being fun. It would feel more like work. And I think one of the reasons this works so well is because we do genuinely enjoy doing it. And if it then felt like work, we wouldn't do. So, yeah.
100%. Yeah. And that's when I think you would end up with one person on the call likely feeling, you know, well, I'm here, but I should be somewhere else. I've got other pressures from other things, you know, and they're not really here. They're here because they feel like an obligation to be here rather than a desire to be here. Like you say, it's the highlight of the month for you, Lee. It probably wouldn't be if you were feeling the pressure of, well, I've just got off of a night shift, or I've just done this and I've just done that, and I should be doing stuff with the family or doing something with it else. You know, it eats into that time. So that's, I think, for the moment, this is going to stay as it is, and we'll keep doing it for as long as we keep enjoying it. And I think the day that we turn around and say, you know, we can still do this call but not record it, maybe that's when we'll stop. But I'm really chuffed that we've done 12 months and 12 episodes, and it's gone actually much better than I thought it was. And I think we've covered great topics as well. I don't think there's anything we've left out. You know, we've covered the movies that we've been watching, the comic books we've been reading, the tabletop war games that we've been playing, the video games, be that retro or modern, got days out like where we've gone to like toy fairs or meetups and stuff like that. I think we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're able to cover off, and hopefully there's something for everyone in there, you know, TV shows and so on and so forth. So I'm not sure we're missing anything, but do you guys think there's anything we could potentially be covering in the future?
If I'm honest, I think we've had a pretty good mixture of things we've been doing over the last 12 months. I don't see that really changing. I think one of the reasons why people like listening to us probably is because it's a wide variation of topics, isn't it? It's all different stuff. I mean, we always have a couple of things in there that are like, you know, pop culture related, you know, but there's also a lot of things to do with what we enjoy as individuals as well, or even as groups. So, yeah, I can't see it really changing much. I mean, you know, it's that old saying, isn't it? You know, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Like, you know, and it isn't broke, is it? So, you know,
yeah, brilliant. I guess the only thing, Chef, is that we've never had a recipe of the month. So, are we ever going to see a quick little chef lesson?
Yeah. You can listen, Martin. I mean, I remember there's been a few times people on New Year's, Martin has rang me or messaged me about, Chef, what to do with this? I miss those phone calls, Martin. Those, how do I turn the oven on? There's a switch on the wall, and then you flip that. I'm happy to share. I'm happy to share the wealth of catering culinary experiences I have with the listeners.
Well, you do it in a WhatsApp group all the time, so you might as well do it on you. Because every time I'm saying cookie tape, he's always like, "We need to do that. You need to do this with this." Like, and I always go to the car. I'm like, "Here we go. He's off again." Like,
yeah. I must admit, the older I get, I do feel like I should go back into college and teach kids how to cook, because the level of chef that's coming through is shocking. However, at the same time, I don't really want to be put in prison. I'll probably end up killing someone because all the young ones probably won't want to listen to you. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, catering. Oh God, I've been doing it for 27 years. 27 years I've been catering, like cooking. And my little saying is, I'll do it every year. Every year I say, listen, I've been cooking for 27 years, not 27 minutes. That's what I say to people when they get fruity with me. I've been adding every year. I've been adding the years. But yeah, such as I never thought I'd be doing it for this long. I always thought I'd do something else by now. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy to share. Maybe you can put a little tab, a little link to like
we need a little chef recipe in the description
like
or something.
little, overnight chicken fire Cajun pulled burrito or something, like in the old oven, 80 degrees. Ooh, love it.
Nice, yeah, and it is absolutely true that I have rung Chef a number of times to ask him how to cook steak. Your steak preparation and steak cooking techniques are now I've learned, and that's what I do every time now. Like when Vic's doing a steak,
way, mate.
I'll be like, I've got this. Let me air it. Let me pre-season it, pre-oil it, and all this sort of stuff. I do all of the techniques that you showed me. So
that's it, mate. That's it.
We'll have to with that. I actually love the idea of in the description of our podcast. Maybe there's a quick chef recipe.
No problem. No problem.
That'd be wicked. I'm sure people would love that. We can ask if people have tried the recipe out.
Food for the geeks, just quick wins.
Wins, no. Yeah, cool. Well, look, I'll sat now. Thank you, gents, for doing this with me for the past 12 months. I've genuinely really, really enjoyed it, and I hope if you're listening to this, whether that's on Spotify or on YouTube or wherever else it is, let me know. Let me know if you've this is your first episode, you've been here for all 12, what you've liked, why you're listening in the first place. It'd be great to hear from some people, given that this is our 1 year anniversary. And hopefully one of many. Right. Let's crack on with some other topics then. I'm going to make sure I say this the right way around, but Leo and Nerdy Geeks, I'm going to come to you for toys are now for adults, not adult toys, which is what I almost keep saying.
Yeah, definitely don't get that mixed up. They're very different.
I mean, we could cover the other topic as well, but I think that's for another podcast.
That's one of my streams, Martin. That's one of my streams.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure in the past, some kids probably put Action Man somewhere, but that's not what we're talking about.
So yeah, this is your feelings towards sort of like toys becoming way more sort of collectibles, I guess, and more for those with expendable income than they should have been, as in originally for children to play, battles and in play as kids.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, they are my faults. However, there's glaring evidence that this is the case, right? So, obviously, as you remember, back in the day when we were younger, most toys came from cartoons. They made cartoons to sell the toys, right? I mean, Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, the list goes on. Transformers, etc., 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 right? But if you notice, a law got passed a few years back and they weren't allowed to then do that, They made it that they weren't allowed to advertise toys. So as a result, cartoons seem to almost disappear. You don't really see much in the way of new cartoons really around now, do you? And you certainly don't see them kind of advertising the toys either as a result of that, right? So what you are seeing is the market being flooded with loads of stuff, and it's quite obvious it's aimed at us because, for example, you guys know I collect a lot of the new Masterverse stuff, and it's Masters of the Universe. Like, I mean, this is what we grew up with, not what kids grew up with now. Like, one of the other things I collect, the Street Fighter line of figures, again, not aimed at kids because, most of them are, and it even says it on the box, Super Street Fighter 2. Well, these kids now didn't grow up with Super Street Fighter 2. We did. So this is the thing. There's a lot of evidence. Not only that, it's the price of these things as well, right? I mean, some of these figures at the cheapest end, you're looking at 25 quid. And you know, they go up from there. But most average figures now are going, like for a 7-inch figure, are going anywhere between 25 and say 50 quid. So, you know, no parents buying them for their kids. They're buying them for themselves. They're going on a shelf. They're staying in the box. No one's playing with them. Like, you know, let's be honest. What parent, including ourselves, would buy our kids a 50 quid 7-inch figure for him to play with? You probably wouldn't, would you? You know? And when you look at these things, you can see that they're not really made to be played with. They're made to be displayed. You know, so it was a thing I wanted to talk about because, like I say, it's something I feel personally quite strong about because it's obvious, but also it's glaringly obvious in the eyes of these people who create these things that they are targeting us, clearly. So, yeah, I just wanted to get you guys' takes on it, whether you'd noticed the same thing, what your thoughts are on it.
As someone who has 4 children, I think if I look
4
back
children? God, you must have no
Yeah.
TVs in your house.
Never had Sky, mate. I could think of the older 2, so Faith and James. That's like 20 and 18. When they were young, like let's say when they were like 6, 7, 8, that kind of perfect age for figures and things like that. They definitely had them, and I can remember them playing with action figures and stuff like that. But the younger 2, I don't think they've ever had a desire or want to play with action figures at all. Like I know when we go to it, like Clark is now 10, which I know is definitely you're starting to come out of that phase by then. Although I think I played with action figures right up to like I was like probably a little bit too old, like 12, 13. But certainly that
Never
age
too old.
is still.
Never too old. Don't say that.
Never too. This is true. You're never too old. But definitely when
Never
you're
too
a
old.
kid,
Don't
you
say
kind
that.
of like people stop
Lee
playing.
Nerdy Geezer is living proof. Look at him. Look at him behind his head. Look at him.
Yeah, but he doesn't play with them, unless maybe he does. I don't know.
How do you know? You're not living with him.
But I definitely feel like with the younger 2, the action figures and toys are just not interesting to them. Now, we have tubs of Marvel action figures and all those sorts of things, and they're just not played with, and it's because I think they've moved to digital. They've moved to either it's the iPad, it's the computer, it's the Switch, it's the everything's much more sort of a digital representation rather than a physical one in an actual toy. So yeah, I think probably if you were trying to sell toys in the last 10 years, you've probably not sold to many children, because I don't know any real children that play with them nowadays. But going back beyond that, then they were definitely, I mean, I used to love it. I don't know. I used to remember there was a big, it's still there actually, a big Tesco's in Lakeside. Chef, you probably know it. I'm sure Lee, you've even been over there. That sort of, and I used to go and do the big shop with my mum and dad. Like every 2 weeks, every Friday, we'd go to Lakeside, we'd go to Tesco. And as soon as you walked in the doors to Tesco, the first section was the toy section. It was there, I'm sure, by purpose, to mean that every adult had to walk their children via the toy section. And I would pick up a He-Man figure, and I would walk around the entire the whole Tesco shop, just holding it, just looking at it, reading the back, reading the front, looking at it, in the vain hope that when we got to the till, my mum and dad would go, they go, oh, God, stick it in the trolley then. And I would say it was probably a 50-50. It was like, it was because sometimes you get there, money would be tight, or the shop would be exceptionally big that month, and therefore the money needs to go on the shop. And you'd have to do the walk back. You'd have to, whilst they're putting the stuff on the conveyor belt, you're walking it back and putting it back on the peg. Or they'd say, oh no, you can have that. Go on then, Martin, put it in the trolley, and then that's it, you put it in the trolley and you're going home with a He-Man figure. But apart from, I can think about that sort of thing with my 2 eldest, but with my 2 youngest, I just don't think it happens. I don't think we've done action figures, which is really sad. But yeah, I think the world has moved for children, has moved on from action figures. That's my thoughts.
No, you're spot on. I mean, we back in our day, we would have remembered playing with a He-Man, whereas these kids now, their first toy would have been an iPad. You know, it is very different. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Chef, what about yourself? Any what's your thoughts on sort of the action figure scene?
Just as I bring in my Hyrule Master Sword which is next to my bed, just in case it kicks off in Epping, I'm ready with my plastic sword.
Which it has been kicking off in Epping recently, so
Yeah,
you might
it has
need your
been.
Master Sword.
And also with my chocolate box of Gundam Earth Federation Space Force chocolates as well.
You need to get things like these little GoBots and stuff. That's what you need.
Mate. Yeah, I've got those, mate. And I've got my Game Boy Micro, and next to my Ambassador Edition Nintendo 3DS. Yeah, I love toys, mate. No, obviously my kids are 21 and 15, so my eldest was heavily into Scooby Doo because I think that Nickelodeon and all that jazz, like SpongeBob, and she had all the toys like the Bikini Bottom play set and the bathroom play set and this and that. But Sammy, my youngest, obviously she grew up with an iPad, like Lee said, which is true. She was into the Monster High kind of dolls, which are like the Barbie but horror ones.
Yeah, I remember.
She's got some really nice ones that are actually now very collectible. And then she's got teddies, and then she's got into these things. I mean, I'm going to show you two. But this is one that I got because I like this character. This is from Jujutsu Kaisen. These are like chibi, like cutesy little figures, and she's into like the little minifigure things. But this particular character is my favorite, Toga. Anyway, but yeah, it's changed loads, isn't it? You know, when we were kids, it's scary when you see like the Argos catalogs from 1988 and all this, and you see a Transformer was a $5, $4.97 or wherever it was. And then I remember having I remember my nan, God rest her, she walked from Wood Green Toys R Us, which you two probably won't know, Wood Green Toys R Us on a little trolley with Boulder Hill mask, and I've still got my one.
Wow.
She walked from Wood Green. I'm not even lying. She walked miles where we used to live when I was a kid to bring it for Christmas.
Nice.
You know, and I remember having my brother was a bit older than me, so he had like Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull, and he always wanted the other one, Lee. You know, the big one with the
one with the hand puppet. Well, you got the hand puppet for the snake, and it's like a dungeon. Are you on about that one?
No, it's like I think it's Eternia. It's really rare and hard to get. It's
I've seen it.
With the monorail that goes round.
That's it.
They're worth a fortune now because the tracks they degrade and they crack and fall apart.
Yeah, of course they're all brittle.
Very brittle. Yeah,
and that's something like my brother always wanted. But you know, like the size of them, and then you know, like Action Falls, I had like I don't know the name. That there was like a oil rig kind of helipad thing, and I think we as kids we were 100% spoiled when it comes to those kind of things, and now I think the older kids are more into the iPads, the Switches. You know, Nintendo stopped the 3DSs and the 2DSs and put all their tech into the Switches, the handheld Switch, and now that. So even that's changed. Now I don't know about you two, I still heavily play my 3DS and my 2DS and then my micro. I still play them a load because there's so many games on them that you can't get anymore and whatnot. But it's just amazing how it has changed. And for adults, obviously, there is, Leah knowing, Martin knows, some of the, I don't want to say the more professional figures, the £200,000-300,000 figures.
Yeah.
Which, some of the artwork, some of the sculpturing of them and the bits are just unreal. And I know Lee's got some great Batman ones. I think it's just transcended. I think it's just our generation of our age group and a bit older have got their extra money and spending it on stuff they probably don't need, but they want it. But the younger ones haven't.
Can I just add something on what you were saying? You was talking about the Eternia playset, right? And that's something I was going to mention, right? They've obviously re-released a lot of this stuff, which obviously means it's aimed at us because they've re-released it for people who couldn't get it back then. But
of course,
one of the things that Mattel's done here, I don't know if you've heard of Mattel Creations, but some of this stuff you can't get anywhere except from them. And they've done it in a way that you kind of pre-order it, and no kidding, it becomes a scalper's nightmare.
Of course.
well, a nightmare for us. It's good for the scalpers because they grab them all
yeah.
and then they sell them on eBay for stupid money. It's actually become a bit of a problem because some of this stuff, if you want it, you could end up paying stupid money for it because scalpers have got them all, and then they're putting the price up. So that's another problem that's come out of this as well.
You said something earlier, Lee, as well about not having adverts anymore, like about toys and that. But I remember when we used to buy the Action Force G.I. Joe videos, you used to see the trailers, the adverts for the toys.
Yeah.
And there was always one toy. I believe we never got it here. Is it the USS Flag? It's like a heli, what the fighter jets go on. I don't know what's that called in the water.
Like a carrier.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Aircraft carrier sort of thing.
I think the USS Flag, don't quote me, is like the biggest play set ever. One of the biggest ever because of the size of it. And we never got it here, but I remember seeing it all the time on the Action Force G.I. Joe like adverts. And I was like, Mum, I want that. And then like you could never, Toys R Us never had it. And then when you watch American YouTubers, you know, for example, the Game Chasers, rest in peace, Billy. I remember they picked it up and they showed. I was like, I want that, but obviously to get that shipped here, I don't even know what it would be to get that. But yeah, I think that's just the times have completely changed. Robots.
Well, one of the things that I think kids missed out on, like, I mean, I've got, as you guys know, I've got a mad infatuation with glow in the dark stuff, and I think it's because we grew up in that era, didn't we, where glow in the dark toys were cool, weren't they? Let's be honest, they were the best. And the trouble is with this market now, they know this, right? And they know that they can charge you stupid money for glow in the dark stuff. It's terrible because like the minute I see something glow in the dark, I'm like, I've got to have it. I've got to have it. You know?
Lee, did you ever want, Lee, the little stars that go on your ceiling? The glow in the dark stars.
Do you know what? Connor had them on his ceiling as a kid.
Yeah, I think all kids yeah.
I always wanted them. My dad said to me, it's for girls.
I mean, the viewers can't, or the listeners can't see this, but I mean, look, I've got a glow in the dark reaction RoboCop sitting on my desk.
Why is RoboCop glow in the dark? It's cool, but why? What? He wants to be unseen, did he?
Yeah, but you could say this. Look, why does Predator glow in the dark? I've got one of them as well. You know, so.
Yeah, that's.
But cool. I mean, down here, I've got Muckman, a large one of them that glows up. You know.
Yeah, I think it was either glow in the dark or it had holograms. Right, holograms are also
that's the other thing I've got.
Wow factor, wasn't it? So, but the thing I was going to say, and you kind of alluded to it a bit there, Chef, when you got out that Jujutsu Kaisen character. I think that toys have also become like when we were young. Toys were meant to be played with. They were articulate. They came with accessories. They had abilities like damage. Click this and the damage would show, or click this and ooze would come out, or they'd have a hologram or glow in the dark. I feel like toys today are designed to be put on shelves and looked at. Like that Jujutsu Kaisen character you've shown there, it has no playability, does it? You can't.
No,
it's a solid piece. It's like pops, you know, the whole pop culture, those things. You can't play with those. Like there's nothing you can do with them. You can get them out of the box if you wanted to, and you can look at them, but you can't play. Like I don't know what you guys did, but I used to like get up in the morning. I would rough my bed up so that my duvet made like canyons and mountains and things like that. And I would get my Action Force out, and I would have a day-long battle where they're killing each other, and you're trying to rescue someone or get the data disc or whatever it is, whatever story you made up in your head. And then I would use like a little red felt tip pen. I don't know if you guys ever did this, but I would put shots into people. Like if they got shot, I'd like dab them with a little red pen and show the like blood mark where they got shot and stuff.
Wait, let me stop you. The best one was you used to wrap them in toilet paper like they were dead, like they were in that's what I used to do. I used to wrap them in toilet paper and be like R.I.P. Wicket or whatever from Action Falls. Or at my nan's house, so not my uncle's house, he had is it the living terrariums, the big massive glass globe, and the front was open, and I used to put my figures on the soil and play in the thing.
But that's what you do. You'd actually play with them, and they were meant to be played. They had the hands that could hold the guns. They had the articulate legs and arms and all the rest of it. and the vehicles and all the trimmings that came along with those things, and they were meant to be played with. Where I feel like now, if you buy a figure, it's even displayed in the packet so that you don't want to open the packet. It's like, oh no, I'll keep it and stick it on the shelf, and that feels to me like, oh man, you've missed the reason a toy was created, because a toy was much like video games. I don't really agree with sealing video games in acetane boxes and grading them and all that sort of stuff, because they were made to be played, and toys, I feel like sometimes, as I sit here with some toys around me, which are definitely for display, but they are memories for me. That's why I like them. But I do feel like toys today, if I was to go to a Smith's or an Entertainer or something like that, the majority of them that are on sale are for display. They aren't for play, you know.
Can I just unlock one last? Sorry, can I just unlock one last thing before I forget? Pizza Hut, yeah, used to get the little white tray in the middle of the pizza, keep the box up. I used to use that for Action Force figures to have their dinner on. You know, like
like a table. Yeah.
My mum. That's so funny, because my mum was big into dolls' houses. Like, we had some massive dolls' houses in when I lived at home. Really big ones. Some that were like 7 stories high and stuff. Like a massive one there was one that was wall mounted. It was huge. It must have had about 45 rooms in it. It was huge.
Oh my God.
So she used to do like all the decoration. Like, she would use this stuff called Flymo, which was for making like fruits and vegetables. Like, you could make food. It was like plastic. It was like adult plasticine basically, but you'd cook it and it'd go hard. So she would make all these things like fish tank bowls and all this sort of stuff, and those tables were exactly what she would use. She would use the little anytime we were out, if there was anything that she'd go, oh yeah, that I could use that, and use some cardboard or use something like this and make something out of it. So yeah, the pizza box, the triangle tray things were perfect for like little dining room tables if you mounted something on top of them and stuff like that. So that's really funny.
Or if you was watching Roadhouse and your fighters were fighting the figures, you'd throw them over the table like, what is this?
Well, do you know what I find interesting about that, right? Is that Chef turns around and says that they used to use the pizza thing. He used it as a table with his action figures, and then later on he became a chef. It's almost like it was destined to happen.
Hey, thank you to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, you was already thinking like a chef when you was a kid.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's great to see toys being sold, but I do think they've shifted, and maybe that is linked to that piece you said earlier, Lee, around the reason why we had great cartoons as kids was because the toy industry wanted to sell figures, and therefore they put money into great TV shows, which normally the show wasn't always great, but the music was always hooked you. I mean, most of us probably couldn't remember an episode of He-Man or an episode of Raccoons, but I can tell you we definitely remember the music from both of those shows, and so on and so forth, all right? And Mask and Centurions, and the list goes on. The first thing that comes to our heads is the theme song, let alone the actual episode. And it was to then make us go, oh my gosh, I need the Mask car that can turn into a plane and the bike that can turn into a helicopter. Please, can I have that on my Christmas list? And maybe, unfortunately, because of that law change, we've lost that, which I'm okay with that law being scrapped. Frankly, I'd rather have great cartoons and be buying toys at Christmas than not. So maybe that wasn't an improvement for mankind.
No, and this is the thing. It's forced the toy companies to change their tactics, isn't it? Because of that law. That's what's caused this, And yeah, it is a shame. Kids now don't play with tactile things, do they? They've now got a sheet of glass in there just dabbing away on, kids miss out now, And it's a shame because the things that they do with these toys now are amazing. I mean, you've seen some of the ones I've picked up. Like, they're way more articulative than they were when we were kids. And it's like, the kids should be playing with these, like, Yeah. And when you were saying about remembering episodes, just so you know, I remember all of these because I still watch them. That's right. I'm 47 and I'm not ashamed to say I watch cartoons. I don't care what anybody says. They're not just for kids. Men can watch cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you still rough up your bed and get your action figures out and have a big battle? Come on, that's
Yeah, man.
No, I don't do that. But I tell you what, I do like to get my figures and re-articulate them on the shelf so they look like they're doing different things. So
Yeah.
I suppose technically you could say that's kind of still playing with the figures, right? So
You still make
I-
pew pew noises when you're
no, I don't do that. I don't do that. But the thing is, for me, right, when I look at these, like as a kid, you see them as toys, right? But as you get older, you start to look at them differently. Like now, I look at them because they're art. They are art. Someone designed this, and I kind of like, for example, I've got a 7-inch trap jaw sitting here. I'm looking at that. Has got to be one of the best versions I've ever seen of trap jaw, right? And when you look at it, you just think that's amazing. Like that somebody created that. And that's what it is for me. Is I like to look at this stuff, including the old school stuff that I've got, like the GoBot I showed you a minute ago.
Yeah.
They're just amazing things to look at as well. And this is the thing I should add here. I'm not against toys being for collectors. I'm not against it. I'm just saying that it definitely has shifted. And now I am a collector. Before I was.
Yeah,
playing with
I think
them,
that's perfectly fine to say. I would 100% agree with that toys have moved from being toys to toy collection, to collectors' toys.
Yeah.
They are definitely shifted. That isn't negative in any way, because I think the manufacturers, the companies that want to make money, they've had to shift towards toy collecting because toy playing has died out, and I don't think it'll ever come back. I think that is a ship that has sailed. I don't think there's any kid born today who in 5 years' time is going to be wanting Action Force, or the modern equivalent of Action Force, or the model equivalent of He-Man, and I don't think it'll exist to go out and buy anyway. I don't think it will be there, so I think unfortunately the action figure style of toys is gone, is gone forever, apart from ones that are going to be on people's shelves in lovely collection boxes, harking back to a nostalgic time, and are there for that reason, and almost sacrilege if you break it out of the package.
Let's not forget companies have gone under too. I mean, you must remember, like Kenner, they were a massive company. They produced all the Star Wars figures. They went under. They got bought out.
Yeah.
So
Also,
you can tell there
I
was
just
a
wanna-
shift.
I just want to comment as well. When we went to the toy fair, how many metal tin toys were there, boys, and trains? And we ain't even spoke about that. We ain't even spoke about that because that's not our thing. But do you remember how many old fellas were there, old boys?
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's massive, and I'm not being funny. I always wanted a train set because when you used to see them on the adverts, they look wicked. Like I mean, you couldn't do anything with it other than go round, but it just looked cool to set up. You would do it. Yeah.
That is something I should say to people. Like, if you've never been to a toy fair, go to one.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't buy anything, you're going to walk around and you're going to have a massive dose of nostalgia, because you're going to see all the toys you had when you was a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
People do need to go to them, because I'm sure they would enjoy them, even if they're not buying.
Yeah. The one thing I will say for trains, as my dad is a train collector, is that the modern train industry has managed to keep up. Like my dad has just been through a process of adding Bluetooth to all of his old trains, and smoke adapters to all of them as well. So
Wow.
they've somehow managed to keep the model train industry as in keeping up to times, so I still think there's people out there who are getting into that hobby from now. Like, it's still quite a big hobby. It's a very, very expensive hobby, but you can now have them making realistic sounds, producing obviously smoke, controlling them via your phone, like if you haven't got all the other gear, and
that's pretty
there's
cool.
so much you can do with them, like creating schedules, creating just different routes, and it seems like they have cleverly managed to keep model training current and relevant to a new audience. So they've definitely done a good job there, because then it's not only for granddad, but it's also for grandson as well, or even granddaughter, whatever. It's everyone seems to be covered by that hobby. So I'm not surprised that when we go to toy fairs or things, that quite big. Yeah,
Let's be
brilliant.
honest, mate. There's nothing cooler than like when you used to see these people that had lofts and they'd converted them into a massive landscape with trains going around. And let's be honest, right? They were cool, weren't they? Like when people put time and effort into something like that, even now, like you look at it and you just think that is pretty cool. Like that looks really good,
Yeah.
I do think that
it was
probably
only
is
ever
something...
trumped by my friend. I had a friend called Paul at junior school, and I went to his house once, and I knew he liked Lego, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." He said, "Oh yeah, you should come and see my Lego." And when I went into his bedroom, his entire bedroom floor was a Lego city, and I am no joke that it was huge, and it had the fire station, the police station, it had 20-30 different houses, it had like the mayor's building and all sorts of stuff. It had street lamps that actually worked. It was when you saw that, you were like, oh my gosh. But it took up his entire bedroom floor. You had to like step around it and do it. But he had obviously vehicles, he had the fire engine, he had all these things. It was amazing. And the first time I ever saw that, I was like, my God, one, you must be rich, and two, scared stiff of accidentally kicking over one of his houses or something. But those people, that was the only time I've ever seen an in-house like full Lego setup. It was pretty awesome.
It's interesting that you just mentioned Lego, because have you seen the price of some of these Lego sets? I mean, they're definitely for collectors. £800 Millennium Falcon, like and they're limited numbers, so you buy it, it's £800. A few years down the line, it's worth 4 times that. Lego's even gone that way, so
and I think Lego has shifted away from being it used to be get a big box of Lego and build things from it. Lego is now sets. It's this Lego set builds this thing, and once you've built it, you leave it as it is. Like I remember when we had Lego as a kid, this massive white tub that was like a toolbox tub that you'd lift up, and it was just full of Lego. It was just literally thousands of bits of Lego, and you just made random stuff with it. Like you didn't have plans, you didn't have a design, you just built as you went. When now Lego seems to be a much more purpose. It's the cafe from Friends, or it's the burger from Fortnite, or things like that. Or it's the fire engine from so and so. So it seems a lot more purpose for like sets rather than anything else. You know what I mean? So it is another collector's toy. Exactly like you say, Lee. It's definitely shifted from being a kid's toy to more collectors. It's worth loads of money now as well. Like
well, yeah. I mean, there's a Jango Fett minifigure that's worth £200 because it only came in one set of Lego. That's crazy, right? £200 for a minifigure.
Yeah. Well, we best move on to some topics, because we've definitely got. By the way, this has led me on to a topic I want to do in another episode, which is about, and actually it's perfect timing. So I think our November discussion, or maybe our December discussion, is I'd love to talk about our Christmases from the past, like, and how Christmas has changed and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's definitely got to be, maybe our Christmas special will be us waxing lyrical about our Christmases as childs, because I think that'd be really good fun to go over those things. I wanted to cover this topic, Lee, because I know it was important to you, and I'm going to admit I don't know too much about this gentleman. So, although since Googling him, I definitely recognise some stuff about this gentleman. So, I'll say that. And please correct me if I'm wrong on his name, but you wanted to talk about, obviously, the sad passing of Drew Struzan.
I think it's Drew Struzan. I think
Struzan. Okay.
Yeah.
Martin.
So. So he died. He passed away on the 13th of October, right? Now, the reason I wanted to mention him, right, is because you remember all the 80s posters that were epic and great, and you looked at them and you think, wow, what a piece of art. Guess what? He did them, right? Yeah. People don't realise, they turn and they say, oh, 80s posters had a certain look. No, Drew Struzan had a certain look. That's what it is. People don't realise that when they say it, they're like, oh, all the 80s posters look so much better. They all had this certain look. No, that's because one guy did most of them. That's why. So just to give you an idea of some of the posters this guy created, right? Star Wars, he did when they did the remasters, he did the posters, right? Phantom Menace, he did that epic one with Darth Maul's face in the background and young Anakin at the front. He did that, right? Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Big Trouble in Little China, one of your favourites, Chef.
That's right.
Remember that epic Goonies poster where they're all hanging off a stalactite and they're all hanging onto each other? He did that. Blade Runner, E.T., Harry Potter. I mean, I could go on all day. This guy did all of the epic posters, you know? And this is the thing. This is one thing that we're lacking now, right? When you see these new posters, let's be honest, they're rubbish. They are rubbish because none of them look like this stuff did, you know? Don't get me wrong. I mean,
isn't that weirdly, because I couldn't even tell you a movie where I've looked at the poster and thought anything, had any feelings. But even though I didn't know that's the name of this guy, when I Google image search this guy and it shows me, like, you know, the Big Trouble in Little China one or the Blade Runner one, like, they are iconic. Like they are like, oh man, yeah. I didn't even know it was him, but I remember seeing these things, and I remember them being either posters on walls or artwork in obviously when you what was the place called? It was called Arena, wasn't it? Remember the shop that used to be like selling posters and stuff?
Yes,
that used to be a big shop in.
Yeah.
I think it was called Arena, and they used to sell all these posters. They were massive shops back in the day, but you knew this all stands out from that. Like, this is amazing work, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, they were all hand drawn in that, you know. This is the thing. This was before you had all the digital like stuff, you know. And I mean, he created one of the most epic Empire Strikes Back posters, right? You remember the one when they remastered it, and you got Vader's head, and then you got a Star Destroyer, and then you got like TIE fighters, and it's coming at you, right? I mean, that is an epic poster. Like that is one I'm planning to get done and framed on the wall because it's an epic poster, right? He's done some great artwork. I mean, he remembers the ET poster. I mean, that was such a good poster, right? Yeah, guy's a legend. And, you know, obviously he would have probably retired a few years ago. So we already have noticed the shift where the older generation has moved out of the space and new people have come in. And I hate to say it, but these new guys that have come in, they're not up to their level. They're really not, you know. It's kind of sad because I feel like an era's sort of died with that guy, you know, because like I say, when people say, oh, 80s posters had a look, no, Drew Struzan had a look because he was doing most of them posters, you know, and the fact he's gone, that's such a significant loss, you know, like massively detailed and superb artwork that's, you know, like I say, obviously he would have retired a few years ago. We've already seen a shift, but yeah, that's a piece of history, you know, like our history that's gone. You know, it's quite sad, really. But yeah, what a legacy this guy's left, though. Like, I mean, you know, all of them, they're all top films, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, do you know where it actually started for him? Right, he did the poster for Revenge of the Jedi because that's originally what Return of the Jedi was going to be called, right? Until George Lucas realized that Jedis don't seek revenge. So he changed it to Return of the Jedi, right? But this guy did Revenge of the Jedi. That's how it all started for him. Amazing, right? So, yeah.
My top three he's ever done is, and this is like two. One of them's iconic. The other two are just my favorite. One is The Thing. It's quite a famous one where it's the guy standing in like the
lights coming out
of his face.
Yeah,
that was when I was a kid. Masters of the Universe one because I just thought I mean with Dolph Lundgren, and one that I always liked because it was, to me, is iconic, but it gave you a different view of a movie. Is Risky Business. If you look at the picture with Tom Cruise, it looks like it's a vampire movie for a split second. If you Google it, Martin, he's got his glasses, his film. It looks like it's a vampire movie. It's not. But I just remember them being in my local sweet shop when we used to when we used to rent the movies. The Risky Business one just looks. I know it's not very it's not a great film, but that picture, I just remember it because I thought, God, Tom Cruise was like a vampire when I was a kid, you know. But, they're my obviously the Star Wars ones are awesome. There's also one
I definitely recommend. I would definitely
Go on,
recommend
mate.
anyone who doesn't know the name, just Google the name, click on Google image search, and you'll see I mean, there's Hook, there's obviously Back to the
Yeah.
Futures, there is the
Yep.
Blade Runner, there is the Risky Business, the Indiana Jones, the Thing. The list just goes on and on and on of iconic movies with his artwork attached to them. So it is significant. What he done, like I say, Master of the Universe, getting all the Star Wars movies, and obviously there's even images of him using like airbrushing techniques. As you said, they're all hand drawn, hand colored, rather than today, which would probably be very computer based, obviously given the time we're in. And I'm sure even AI being used to do some of the colorization and tweaks to these artworks, which loses that kind of human error, human sort of uniqueness that comes into some of these artworks, which often makes artworks very unique. So yeah, definitely worth a Google. I can see there is some books that he's done with his artwork
Yes, he
in.
has.
So
I'm going to pick up a few of them. I mean,
yeah,
let's
Lee,
not
I
forget,
just want to show you.
back in the day, one of the
Sorry.
first things you would have seen before you saw anything else about a film would have been that poster, right? You
yeah,
wouldn't have
exactly.
seen a trailer
In
first. You
Blockbuster.
would have seen a poster. So just think, like, he's the reason that people watch them films. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah, I
amazing.
mean, there
Really.
was no looking up a movie on YouTube, right? You walked
Yeah.
past the cinema and saw the poster on the wall, or you saw it on a billboard, or you saw it on the side of a bus, or you saw it in Blockbuster, you know, on the coming soon or something in Blockbusters and things like that. So that was the only way you saw it. So your only real connection, or you were lucky enough to catch a trailer, obviously when you're seeing another movie. There weren't any other ways to find out about movies, or it was in a magazine, right? You know, that sort of thing. So I think these artworks were vitally important to try and cram in one as much as you could in a single image of what's about to happen in this movie, who are the key players, maybe who's the bad guy based on colorization and stuff like that. You know, they did a lot of that in those posters, right? They purposely chose different colors to show different sides and so on. Yeah, this was it. There was no other way of finding out. So if the poster didn't grab you, maybe you skipped that movie. So it was so vital that it did its job of drawing people in. Yeah, really, really very cool. I think my immediate favorite would probably, just because I love the movie so much, it would probably be Hook, just because from being a kid, the Hook movie was so good. I can watch that over and over and over again. But Big Trouble in Little China is going to be up there. Yeah, there's so many to choose from because they're all so much, like you say, iconic movies. You know.
Yeah.
So Lee, you were saying about Empire Strikes Back. Is it this one? Because this one's I've not seen this one before.
I used to have that one on my wall. I actually had one from the cinema. I actually had that one on my wall, the proper cinema one.
That's the other one.
I don't think he did that one. That's the one I'm on about. That's the one he did.
Oh, right. Okay.
This is a terrible section for our listeners, but
yeah, listeners can't see it. But
there are many different variants of the Empire Strikes Back poster.
So
that one's on the Japanese Laserdisc cover. I've not seen it before. Well, I don't remember seeing it elsewhere, but I know it's on the Japanese Laserdisc cover.
Yeah, I don't know if he did the originals, but I do know he did the remastered covers, and that Empire Strikes Back one with the Star Destroyer coming towards you. That is from the remastered VHS covers, and that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, there we go. Well, look, rest in peace, Drew, and thank you very much for producing some just iconic, amazing artwork that will live forever, I think. Yeah, it's very cool. And like I say, if you're listening to this, chuck his name into Google and go and see some of the stuff, and you will instantly have memories and feelings to a lot of the imagery that you see. And all of it could absolutely be framed and placed on your gaming wall or your living room wall, whatever you wanted to put it, because it is top-notch artistry. So very, very good indeed. Awesome. Right. Quite crikey, we are whizzing through the time. The thing that I wanted to talk about was something I'm very excited about, and I'm wearing the hoodie to go with it at the moment. And it's something that I really love. And I'm not sure, I think some people have maybe fallen out of love with it over the years, but I still genuinely really love it. Is I'm very excited for the Stranger Things season 5, which is about to start in November, I believe, and is broken into 3 parts. There's a November part, there's a Christmas part, and there is a New Year's part to finish the story. Actually, it will actually bring a close to the Stranger Things show over on Netflix, and I'm genuinely really excited about it. I really love Stranger Things, and I can tell you the reasons why, and it goes back to what I used to love about TV shows back in the day. So I love Small Town America, like the Stephen King type TV shows that are out there, like Needful Things, and those little mini series that used to be on Cujo and so on and so forth. So it captures that for me, like Small Town America. Obviously it's based in sort of the 80s, so a lot of pop references to that period of time. I love that kind of teen horror. It's not too scary, but there's an element of scariness to it. It has some big action. There's definitely some slow bits in it, but because I like that Small Town America type feel, I'm okay with the times where it's a bit slower and stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited to see the end of this story. Apparently it's going to explain all about the Upside Down. So if you've never seen Stranger Things, it's essentially a small town America town that's kind of like it's hard to describe, but it's lots of weird goings on. There seems to be an alternate reality attached to this town. They call it the Upside Down. There's lots of government conspiracy type stuff. There's some monster stuff. There is some intrigue, but it's all wrapped up in this 80s sort of teen environment, and it just works so well. So great actors in it, and I'm really excited to finally see, even though it's taken them quite a few years, to finally see the end. Of course, it comes with that concern of, can they stick the landing? I think we've seen so many TV shows come and go that just don't stick the landing, and maybe we'll come onto Alien Earth at some point as one of those TV shows, unfortunately, and that's my fear. Now the good news is it's not Disney, it's Netflix, and I think the directors are really good and all of that. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I didn't know if I actually don't know whether you guys are fans or not fans, have dropped off over the years. Where do you stand on Stranger Things? Maybe Nerdy Geezer, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, we've been watching it from the start. Me and Cara both watched this. We enjoyed it right from the start, and I think it's very clever what they did with all the pop culture references. It hooked us straight away because that's our time, right? Like, Cara doesn't really normally watch stuff like that, but I think because of the trailers with the pop culture references, she was like, "Oh, that looks good," and I thought, yeah, because it calls to all our inner child, don't it? And again, like you, I love that small town America. There's a lot of bits in the first one which remind me a lot of the original It 2-part movie. Remember?
Yeah.
A lot of bits remind me of that, and there's also little subtle bits that kind of remind me of Stand By Me as well.
Yeah.
Both films that I love, right? So, my only concern, right, and this is something I'm going to say here, right, is they took so long doing these that, like, is it Millie Bobby Brown? She now looks about 40. Like, it's like, how are they going to do this in this season? Like, isn't she meant to be like, I don't know, 15, 16 at this point? I don't know how they're going to do that, but she doesn't look 15, 16 now, does she? Like, they have took too long. I would say that. But, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It hasn't been all great. I think season 2 and season 3 kind of fell off a bit. I think probably, if I'm honest, season 3 was probably the worst one, I think. But when they introduced Vecna, I mean, that definitely did up the game a bit, didn't it? It kind of reminds me a bit of the Voldemort story from Harry Potter in a lot of ways.
Mm.
The guy that become the big bad, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think anyone could have not tested the fact that it obviously borrows from a lot of movies, like The
Yeah.
Goonies, like Stand By Me, like all those things. It is definitely harking to some of those. The It story again, absolutely 100%. Is it borrowing from that?
Yeah.
It's unique enough, I think, in what it does, but there are loads of little nods and references to these things, and I think that's also probably why I like it quite a lot, because it is that it does feel like it could be one of Stephen King's kind of mini series is on TV from back in the day and stuff like that. So and I think like all TV shows, it definitely has some peaks and troughs and things like that. And but I on the whole have thoroughly enjoyed all 4 seasons of it, which I can't say about many TV shows. So for it to now be in that final season, and they've said it's the final season and it's going to wrap everything up, I'm really hopeful. And I've watched it a number of times. It's one of those comfort watches I can just stick on whilst I'm working or doing other things, and I enjoy the whole. The music is fantastic in it. For instance,
Yes.
the visuals are great. The actors are really good. Like, there's only a few dodgy bits where I could do that. There's a whole scene. I think it's in season 3. Where she goes into the city and becomes a bit of a gang member in the city when she finds another person with powers. That whole couple of episodes, they could just cut that, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think they realize that, which is why they keep that whole section quite small. So they sort of like realize it's a bit. Once they take it out of small town, Hawkins as it is. Once they take it out of that town, it goes a bit rubbish. So they kind of bring it all back to the town.
Yeah.
Chef, what about yourself? Are you a fan?
Yeah, man. We watched it all with my eldest first because it came out in 2016. So Sammy was only 6 then. And we watched it all with Talia. And then we watched it all again with Sammy. And now we watched the last 2 seasons or season together as a family. We all love it. Yeah, it's had its ups and downs. And yeah, they all look old now. Like you see them in other movies. It is. It's the same as Harry Potter. Fair enough, they kind of squished it and got it all kind of done, but they had to obviously adjust Harry Potter's voice because his voice did break. So his voice in the later films wasn't his voice. They had to mess around with it because his voice did break. But same as this now, it's going to be strange to see this, how it goes. But yeah, I don't know why it took so long to come. I'm sure there's stuff that goes on that we don't know about. Obviously, they make loads of films and other bits and pieces. But it pulled all the nostalgic things that we loved as kids, the BMX stuff. When they dressed up as Ghostbusters at Halloween.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
Right. There's so many things. And the idea that they're using tech from that time. And it's just got, like, even now I think about it, there's so many great things. And obviously the story's evolved dramatically because at the beginning you just thought it was just monsters, and now Vecna's, is he the big bad? I still don't think he is. I think there's something bigger than him probably coming. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we've had lots of deaths. I forgot his name, the Goonie guy. Was it Ted? Not Ted. What was his name? The one who died. Oh, sorry.
I can't remember.
I know you're on about. You're on about the one that was. Yeah, hang on. I'll get his name. I know you mean.
He's in Winona Ryder.
Yeah, he's in California, man, or what the Americans
call
Encino Man.
Yeah, he's in loads of
Toy Soldiers, like he's in The Hobbit and all that. Steve,
Yeah.
Sean Austin, is it? Sean Austin?
Sean Austin, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
He plays like Frank, Ted, Steve, Alan, whatever his name is in it. And that was a sad killing. And then obviously when Eddie died, and there's that epic scene.
Oh, that's
the caravan.
Yeah.
Playing Master of Puppets.
Master of Puppets, Metallica. Yeah.
Like epic, like legendary.
Yeah.
And obviously, is he coming back? Seems that he's not Eddie, but if he does, it'd be great to see him as a bad guy. Who knows? Obviously, I'm terrible with the names. The Ginger Girl's brother, he's Billy, isn't he? He's Billy. That was wicked. He was such a good baddie. That actor, he was in Power Rangers as well. He plays the Red Ranger in the newer film. He's in loads of stuff. Mate, it's awesome, and it's coming to an end. I think they went out there when they were in Russia. Like that was really out there. Like that was
Yeah.
really out there.
That was series 3, I think. That was the one I wasn't
Yeah.
so keen on. Yeah.
And then you had the guy who was basically a Terminator from Russia.
Yeah.
Who that like he was just unreal as an enemy.
And clearly was like
really sad.
obviously trying to have that Arnold Schwarzenegger look, didn't he? I mean, the guy.
Yeah,
looked
he was.
like
It was.
Arnold
Do you know,
Schwarzenegger.
it's going to be sad. It will be sad because I think it brought loads of people together. That TV show, like I said, families. We watched it as a family.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are other stuff, but I'm looking forward to it. I think is it Christmas Eve and New Year's Day. I think they're coming out. Some of the last ones or something like that.
Yeah, I think it starts in November, and then there's like a break, and then there's something on Christmas, and then something on obviously the finale. I believe is going to be New Year's Day. So,
Wow.
And some of the episodes are like movie length episodes. I think they're like
An hour and a
1
half
hour
long.
30,
Yeah, I've
so,
seen the rundown. You know, like Sammy, she loves Steve. She's like, is he gonna die? And she goes, I'm gonna go crazy if he dies. I'm like, oh my god, you know, like.
Do you know what I think's clever about it, right? And I don't know if it's maybe the marketing, but the thing is, the show refers back to the 80s, like and 90s as we remember it, right? Because I mean, now it's pretty much shifting into the 90s, isn't it? Right, as we remember it, right? But you know what's clever is they've not just done that; they've actually brought in actors that were well known in them times. For example, Sean Astin, Winona Ryder. You know, it's very clever. Like they're really smart with what they've done. They couldn't have marketed it any better.
One of the things I really love about it is they've also captured, and this probably is less for Americans than it is for us. Like, if you remember growing up, our malls didn't look like the Hawkins Mall, but that is exactly how we thought. That's exactly how we thought American malls looked like. Like when we think about Halloween in our streets, Halloween wasn't like how Americans do Halloween, but it captures exactly what I think the Halloweens look like. Like they do go all out and dress up as ghosts. We would have stuck a cardboard box over our body and said, "Oh yeah, I'm a Ghostbuster." Like that's what we would have done because we didn't do things like the Americans do. But it absolutely, for me, it harkens back to when I used to look at America back in the 80s and the 90s. It was the land of where dreams come true. Like they did everything bigger, everything better. They almost when I was young, I used to think like Americans were like 10, 20 years in the future. They were like living the dream out there. With their massive malls and their massive cars and massive theme parks and streets where they could do Halloween to the scale they used to do things. That's what America felt like. It was it was all where everything was big. And this does that. This makes you feel like how you felt back there, where God, wasn't America cool back in the 80s and the 90s? Because they had everything. And I wonder if Americans watch it and go, well, it wasn't actually like that, or these things, or maybe they were like that. But certainly for us outside of America, it captures. I won't use a Trumpism and say when America was great, but it does feel like it captures when we thought America was great. And that's what I really like about that whole feeling, because when I watch it, it just everything is joyous. It's a joyous thing to watch, and see all those memories that we had back in the day, and how I looked at America and the way that it was just like that dreamland. It was very, very cool. So
Lee, have you seen the link? It's a parody link, but it's hilarious. The link of the Predator movie, the first movie with Stranger Things, with the dog tags. There's a dog tags of the first unit that gets sent in, and it says Hopper. And Arnie says, "Oh yeah, he was a good guy," and they're saying it's Hopper from Stranger Things. Obviously, it's not. There's like I have to share it with you because it's like giving Hopper from Stranger Things a military background, like he's some sort of commando. It's just funny because he's like Arnie says, "Yeah, Hopper, he was a great guy," but all this city, it's just funny.
Oh, excellent! That'd be really funny. The one thing I don't know if it is going to happen or not, because a while ago they did talk about, obviously, this is going to wrap up the Hawkins story, so the story that we see today. But they do believe there are going to be other Stranger Things stories to tell. So it won't be Hawkins, and it won't be that any of the characters that are in it today. but this kind of Stranger Things is more of a theme, and then they're going to be other Stranger Things stories. So we might not ever see Hawkins again, or the group of kids again, and all that sort of stuff, or Hopper and all the rest of it. But we are going to hopefully see another story, like another weird goings on elsewhere. So that would be really cool if it doesn't die from that point of view.
I heard it's going to be based in the UK, Kent, Bexley Heath. I heard it's going to be
with me with a cardboard box.
It's going to be Lee and his gang riding around with you, Martin, on the street.
Well, the thing is, it makes sense to move it around because, I mean, for starters, you know, it's like an alternative reality, if you like, you know, but so it's going to be everywhere. But the other thing is, obviously, these actors, as I've alluded to at the start, have clearly aged out. You know, so you've got to do other things with it. You've got to have other actors. You've got to get other kids involved. You know, so it makes sense, and of course, then you can also change the time periods then as well, can't you?
Yeah,
you can shift it forwards into the early 2000s or something. You know,
do they ever mention any other countries? Like, I don't remember off the top of my head. Ever mention like London's gateway hell? Or I don't remember
it.
No, it always seems to be a direct link between Russia and Hawkins, isn't it? It seems to be, that's where the gateway is.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's feeding into that whole Cold War era, isn't it?
Exactly. The Cold War. Yeah, definitely.
If I could pick my next Stranger Things story, because I'm such a lover of Lost Boys, I'd love to see a Stranger Things, but with like a vampire story from the 80s, an actual TV show. Like that would be so cool for me because we don't get that anymore. And obviously they have tried doing Lost Boys sequels and they've all been awful. But you could imagine it being, you know, very, very cool, a vampire story in the 80s, 90s. You know, I think you have to do it in America. Again, 80s and 90s Britain was a bit grim and a bit dark and a bit grey. we don't have the seaside, we don't have the coastal lines of America or the weather of America and all of that. I'm not sure it would be grittier, that's for sure, but I'm not sure we could pull it off as well as you can do with some of the places in the US. But maybe other countries, maybe. But I think it would probably be another US based series. But I imagine I hadn't quite clocked that it was 2016 that it first came out. So the chances of us seeing another Stranger Things story is we're probably talking another 10 years before we see it. So we'll be a few episodes into this podcast for sure before we get to talk about what's next for Stranger Things. But look, ultimately, go on, Lee.
I was just going to say, the thing is, I think what they need to do at this point is they need to hook in the next generation, right? So I think they'll probably shift it forwards to early 2000s because at that point, then people are becoming adults and they're getting nostalgia from their childhoods.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's probably what they're going to do. They'll probably shift it forward a little bit and play into their nostalgia, you know?
Yeah. My worry with things like that is I think the moment modern technology hits these things, it makes stories really hard. Like the introduction of the mobile phone makes things really difficult because when people go missing or people can't like there's a magic about you're uncontactable, you're unreachable, you're unfindable because of this stuff. The moment you bring in modern day technology, like if one of my kids was like, "Oh, I don't know where they are," I open my phone, I go, "Well, there's the app. Oh, they're there." I'll go and get them. So oh, I don't know. I hear strange noises. Oh, I just call my mum and dad to come and get me. Oh, I don't like it here. Can you come? Like I find that there is a magic about those 80s and 90s, which is why I think they do so many TV shows and movies in that period. That you can have intrigue and mystery because you haven't got the internet, the mobile phone, this kind of modern stuff to help.
Don't you think though a lot of that comes down to the writing though, right? Because there is an easy way to get around this problem, right? If you're good at what you do, right? Mobile phones and internet could easily be solved with an EMP, for example.
Exactly.
You can knock that straight out, or even the electrical board goes down, there are ways around it. It's just unfortunate that these days we've got really rubbish writers that don't think of things like that. So
yeah, you are right. You are right. You can get clever. So yeah, look, we'll try and wrap this one up. I think it's I'm really looking forward to it. I really hope they stick the landing, and I know it is always hard with these shows that have gone on for a number of years, number of seasons, to wrap up everything. I'm sure there'll be complaints, but I am really, really hopeful that we get a satisfying ending to the L story, the Vecna story, the what is the Upside Down, what actually is it, and things like that. And I'm sure we're going to get some shocking deaths because we don't need don't need those characters anymore. So there's probably going to be a couple that are going to be quite tearjerkers. That's maybe. Yeah, let's see, and I will absolutely be buzzing to talk about it. I'm sure in our January episode, when it's all said and done, or I'll be devastated.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Look, I thought we're running. We've done a load of chatting today, so let's just jump into sort of our wrapping of things up. I thought I might cover off obviously the channel update stuff that you guys normally go through, but also any sort of recent pickups you might have picked up that you've like really chuffed with that you've managed to get. So maybe Chef, I come to you first. Like, picked up any nice little bits recently?
Yeah, we've been heavily Ninja inspired this last month or so with Ninja Gaiden, obviously the new Shinobi I got as well, and then I forgot the name. Put me at my misery, Lee. What's the other one I showed the other day?
Fading Afternoon.
Oh, yeah, Fading Afternoon, which I haven't actually played yet, and I've had that since I think August or July. So it's great. Yeah, there's two definitely good games. I've played Ninja Gaiden and I played Shinobi. I had like the demos. Fading Afternoon I haven't played yet. I know Lee's played it. Wasn't too keen on it, but hopefully, like I said to Lee earlier, if I can get a walkthrough and get to some decent juicy bits, it might inspire Lee to get back into it. I don't know if he will, but it's one of them. I'm trying to think what else really, gaming wise. I picked up some laser discs. I've picked up a Gargoyles movie laser disc as well, and an episode of the Raccoons we were talking about earlier on Laserdisc I picked up as well. Other than that, mate, it's just getting ready for Christmas now. I guess just getting ready for the kids to give me their list of stuff they want, and then the missus, and then what I want to get for Christmas. I don't know what I want for Christmas. That's about it, really, mate. To be totally honest with you, that's it.
Yeah. Do the kids still sit down with a Argos catalogue and circle a bunch of things, or is that day gone?
Let me tell you something funny. Yeah, this is the level of it now. So Sammy was 15 in the end of September, hence why there was no swap shop, and the Ryder Cup was on as well. Just to let you know, yes, I was very busy the last weekend. She gave us a I don't know what to call it, like a demonstration through the TV of what she wanted for her birthday, like in August. Like it'd come up pictures like a slideshow of gifts she wanted with the prices. And I looked at her and I said to her, how long did it take you to do that? She went about 20 minutes. And I said, why can't you get your homework done? But to be fair, she gets her homework done. I can't complain. But it was proper next level. Forget Argos and ripping out the pages and sticking them to the fridge like we used to do. Forget that. This was next level Bill Gates, Windows, Steve Jobs level of showing me what she wants. So there's a Christmas one I've been told. So I'm gonna film it. So I'm gonna show you guys. It's gonna be hilarious.
That is hilarious because my middle son Blake did exactly the same. He sent me a file. It was a slide deck. It was a PowerPoint slides, and each slide had like a URL to the item, and then
my god.
And it was like, mate, you are living in a different world if you think that's how this is going to work.
This must be a new craze because Connor did this to us last year, I think it was. but it wasn't for Christmas stuff. I forget what it was for, but this was a full-on professional presentation, right? Like he starts off the conversation. This is why Connor should have this, right? And then he starts going through. And no kidding, it was if you had had a stick, you would have been like number one, right? Like honestly, this was a full-on presentation in the front room. I'm not even joking.
Oh, I love it.
I can't remember what it was for, but I know I recorded it on my phone because it was hilarious. I'll show you guys at some point. It was funny. Yeah,
it's when they start presenting their 12-month business plan with return on investment and things like this.
Well, it weren't far off that. Honestly, I felt like I was sitting in a business board meeting. Like honestly,
Oh my god,
you know, like a marketing meeting.
the world has changed.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Nerdy Geeks, what about yourself? Any recent pickups and stuff?
At the moment, actually, I've been picking up a bit of 3DS, which is funny because Chef mentioned 3DS.
Nice.
So the boys each had one, you know, when they were younger. We still got them. And I kind of played the odd game here and there on it. I mean, I remember liking Street Fighter 4 3D version on there. It's quite good on that. Probably the best Street Fighter game on a handheld, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right. And so a little while ago, I managed to pick up a 3DS from a charity shop for a good price. And I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'll get these games. Now, like I say, I've got access to these. The boys have got them. But I thought, you know what, at some point, you know, they're going to move out and they're going to want to take all that with them. So I thought I'm going to pick these up myself. So I've been picking up that Street Fighter game I was talking about, Sonic Transformed, Mario Kart 7. You know, great games. I played the 3DS version of Shinobi, which I'd already picked up a while back, you know, for when I did eventually get a 3DS. And I got to be honest, I don't like that version of Shinobi. Like, I mean, so many pages of instructions at the start. Like, I think there was about 13 pages. And by the time I'd finished it, I'm like, I don't even remember what it told me there. You know, and they just made the game so technical that it wasn't really that enjoyable to play. You know, it's not the Shinobi I remember.
No.
So, yeah. But yeah, I'm loving the 3DS. It's great. Yeah.
It's the one console that you guys talk about quite a lot that I've never gotten into. I own a couple of them, and I own a really nice, fancy one, but I've never spent quality time with it, like played games and stuff. So definitely be interested in your recommendations on some of the best sort of 3DS games. You know,
racing games are really good on the 3DS.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, I've got to get that.
Oh, Chef is showing me the Sega 3D Classics collection. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the UK one has got these games. There's two of these in Japan. The other one has got some wicked games, but this has got like Power Drift, which we never got a home consoleized version in the UK as it on a Sega. Or be Sonic. It's like, yeah, that's a good one. There's like, I mean, there's so many.
There's a Nintendo one as well that Scott told me to pick up. That's meant to be really good as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, honestly, there's so many good games on the 3DS. The Castlevania games, Batman, Blackgate, Wicked. There's some really good games.
Yeah,
nice. Fancy game that you recommended as well, Chef. That's good.
Which one?
You know, the Ghost Recon game.
Oh, yeah, that is
Shadow Wars.
Yeah, it's the best game on the 3DS, and it was only cheap. I don't know what it is now.
Oh, it's still cheap.
But,
I picked it up for about £4, I think. It's still cheap.
There you go. It's a good game. It plays really well on there. There's some good games on the 3DS. Very underrated.
Yeah, I definitely need to check it out. Like I say, I've got one. So, yeah, myself, I've like I said, I think last month I talked about playing Diablo 4. I've still been playing that a ton. I've now maxed every single character that is available in the game. So I've kind of done the new season. Like there's no more to me to do in that game, which is quite nice. And then I've been playing a new game, which I don't know if it's on any consoles or anything, but it's called Clover Pit on Steam. So it might be on other games, but it's if you're in any way a fan of like fruit machines and the addictive nature of a fruit machine, then this game is really very cool. So essentially, you're trapped in a room. And it's insinuated that you're kind of trapped by the devil in this room and you owe him a debt and you have to win the coins each round to be able to pay a portion of that debt. Otherwise, something terrible happens to you. So you have a limited number of goes to go on the fruit machine. So you go on the fruit machine, you pull the handle and you get lucky or not. You know, you win your prize or not. But each round you can have a limited number of tickets to buy power-ups. And it might be the power-up might be that bells are worth double, or certain combinations on the fruit machine are ×3, and then you can like combo these things together. So if you've then got, well, my bells are worth double and this combo's ×3, where you're going to get double then ×3 and so on, and you build up over time these combinations of things, and you keep going back to the machine, you keep trying to win the coins. You've got so many pulls per round, and you've got to pay the debt each round, and because it's a roguelite, each time you die, you get to keep some of the power-ups that you've earned during the last session. So over time, you start to build up and build up and build up. And it's a really addictive game loop. Really cool graphics. It's 8-bit graphics. It looks really quite, it's quite macabre, and there's blood and bones, and some bits and pieces going on. I think it's like an £8 game on Steam. But if you have any like of that kind of fruit machine type stuff, it's definitely worth checking out. Me and James, my oldest son, have been playing it, and it's like I say, it's one of those games where the game loop is quite short. Each game will take you maybe 20 minutes to play if you're lucky. You might end up after the first round and die. But it's that one more go. It's that kind of, okay, well, if I try this combo next time, I might be able to get. And I've seen videos of people breaking the game where they get these certain combos going, and they're earning like trillions of coins every time and stuff like that, and the game loop gets out of hand once you've stopped certain combos. So very akin to games like Balatro, if you've seen that one being talked about, which was a card game all about making different hands in poker. There's a few different games. There's a dice one as well called Dice Dungeon, I think. So it's taking a simple mechanic like dice, cards, or fruit machine, and then adding a roguelike game loop to it to make it super interesting. So yeah, that has hooked me at the moment, called Clover Pit. It might be on other systems, I don't know, but I've got it on Steam, so we've been playing it there. So
I forgot, actually, I bought a couple of games on Steam as well. Eartheon,
nice.
which is a game that's coming out on the Mega Drive, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Or is it already out? It's a homebrew game, isn't it? I got that on Steam. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it's a shooter. So
Right, okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, but yeah, Clover Bit. Have a Google of it and see what you think. I don't know if either of you two are fruities, if you like the old fruit machines or not, but it's definitely fun.
I learned my lesson when I was about 12. I remember I sneaked into a gambling arcade, put my money in a machine, lost it, and I was like, "Yep, I'm never touching one of them ever again." I learned my lesson very, very early. That was it.
Well, luckily with this one, Lee, you're not using your real money. You're all right. There's no debt to be had apart from the video game debt. So
yeah, but unfortunately, I think because I had a bad taste in my mouth after, I've never been interested in anything like that since. It's like, no, screw that. I'm not interested. Like, yeah.
That's why my kids won't play cards with me, because I made them once use their own pocket money. We played 21. We played blackjack, and my kids lost their pocket money on the table. And ever since then, James is now 18. He's been scarred by that moment, and he doesn't gamble at all anymore.
See, now card games are different. I mean, the proper blackjack, I like playing that with the kids, mainly because I'm good at it. Uno's another good one I love playing with the kids.
Uno, yeah, that's one we play.
Yeah.
God, that gets aggressive. Like, I'm not
game,
even funny. It gets really like, I've got 2 girls and I'm scared sometimes.
The funny thing is, have you ever noticed that Uno basically is our version of blackjack? Have you ever noticed that? It is basically
pretty much. Yeah.
It's just that you've got cards, instead of whatever it would be in blackjack, which I think is 8 to miss a goal or whatever. Like, the difference is now you've actually got a card that says it. That's the only difference. It's exactly the same game.
Well, if you like card games, then I can definitely recommend Balatro on Steam as well. That definitely came out on Switch and a bunch of others. That is all about, again, creating poker hands to get high scores, and then using different modifiers and stuff to really ramp your score up. And I think that was nominated for Game of the Year last year. That's how good it was. Wow. It was like a tiny little indie game, and it was up there against all the big AAA games. And I think it came like second and third as like Game of the Year or whatever. So I do like those kind of games.
I'm not surprised, because let's be honest, like, a lot of AAA games these days suck. Like, they really do. Like, a lot of these smaller games are better. So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Any sort of channel updates, Chef? When are we expecting the next swap shop? That can't be too far away.
Yeah, Halloween special was next Sunday. I'm just now that I'm off now, I can get it out there and whatnot. It should be good. So it's the 26th. So yeah, next Sunday the 26th, 8 p.m. Halloween edition of Swap Shop. Should be good.
So
Looking
you're
forward
going to
to
be
it.
wearing a box over your head or anything is to be a Ghostbuster?
Well,
Getting dressed up.
yeah. Well, who knows, Martin? Who knows? Maybe a cardboard box. Yeah, who knows?
Excellent. Yeah, cool. Anything else, Chef? Is it just the swap shop? Any other things planned? I guess swap shop just tends to be your bread and butter these days, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it for the minute. I've got so much stuff I've picked up for the last year, like from when I've done a video properly. That um, I need to do something, but where I'm just sorting stuff out. I'm in my bedroom in a minute, and that's nearly finished, like furniture wise. So I'll be able to film a bit more up here, especially because I'm having a little gaming bit upstairs where the TV is going to be. Because my bedroom's massive, like it's crazy, really. Anyway, so there's going to be like a little gaming setup up here, and then once the games room's done, I'll still have a setup up here, but it'll be heavily down there. There's lots of good, cool things. I've got so many great ideas I want to do, and obviously I want to, get you guys round and whatnot, and play games and pull out some of your nostalgic games and show hidden gems. There's so many things that I'm gonna do. I can't wait. Time is of an essence, obviously, but yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool.
So you have a very understanding missus to have gaming in the bedroom. I mean,
Let me just tell you something, right? Let me just say
video gaming in the bedroom. That's what I mean.
Well, this is the thing. There was a standoff because where the room is so big, she makes jewelry. My missus, she makes jewelry. She's actually quite good at it, and the way the room's laid out is going to be the two sides of the room. One side of the room is going to be for her, like her office bit, where she's got a Cricut or a Cricut, if you're in America, and all of her stuff there, along with the 3D printer, which is going to probably be up here for some time until the games room sort that. And then the other side of the room is going to be where her jewelry table is. So it's kind of a little bit of a deal. That's why I've got the games upstairs. It's going to be at the back of the room. But I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be nice to be able to film again and show bits. So yeah,
excellent. Well, I look forward to the Halloween swap shop. That should be very, very good.
Yeah,
Nerdy Geezer, what about yourself?
I just want to touch on what you're saying there about his missus being understanding. I think my missus is probably more understanding than most because I've got my stuff all over the place. But that's because, like, for example, I've got movie pictures and stuff on the walls, which you guys can't see, but yeah, I've got collectibles behind me and games behind me and my films, and I've got pictures on the walls all over the place. So, don't get me wrong, it's not always been this way, but, it come to a point when, I'd been moved in for quite some time. And I said, look, there's literally nothing of me in this place. Like, it's all you, this is kind of our place, not just yours now. So we had this discussion, but I think my missus would probably say it's kind of gone more the other way now. Yeah. But I mean, this is the trouble with living in a flat. You haven't got a lot of room for stuff, so you've got to put it somewhere, right? So, yeah. But yeah, in terms of what's coming, there has been talk that we might be doing a Predator no late fees at some point because obviously the new one comes out in a few weeks' time, a couple of weeks maybe. Comes out next month, doesn't it? November.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been talk about maybe doing that. I imagine probably you two probably want to be involved in that. I know you're big fans of Predator like me.
Yeah.
And obviously I've been saying this for a long time. I need to do a pickups video, but if I'm honest, like I've said this before, I've kind of fell out of love with YouTube a little bit just in the last few months. I suddenly come to the conclusion that I was spending more time on that and not actually enjoying the hobbies I like. And it was like, yeah, why am I doing this? Like, I could be watching this. I could be playing that. I could be reading this, So I've kind of took a bit more time for myself the last few months. So I've been putting less content out, less videos out. So I know I keep saying this every time we do one of these. I need to do a pickups video, and it's because every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered. Like, so I'm not bothered. But it's getting to a point now where I've got quite a pile of things, so I need to do one so that I can put that stuff away. Because what I do is I keep that in a pile so I remember what I've got. If I just put it away, I'll forget what I've got. So yeah, I do need to do it, but it's just like just being bothered to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, I can't understand that. I'm in a very similar place. Like, in fact, I've announced, whether you guys have seen it or not, I've announced on the channel that I'm not going to be doing what I consider to be static content videos anymore. So I'm not going to be doing product videos or pickup videos or gameplay videos and stuff like that. Stuff where it's just like record and done and then forget. I just don't enjoy the process. The channel is going to go back to what its roots were, even before I was on YouTube and I was on Twitch. It's going to go back to the live streaming. So that's going to be the Monday Night Retros, the painting streams, and then this podcast, because this podcast is very different to sitting down in front of a camera trying to talk about a box, a box opening of a product or a new game and doing some gameplay. Because I did try to record a pickups video the other week, maybe a couple of weeks ago now, and in the process of doing it, I didn't enjoy it, and then in the process of trying to edit it, halfway through, I just gave up and scrapped it and was like, "That's it, I'm done." But the flip side of that is this live streaming, Monday Night Retros. Really, really enjoy doing it. Again, it makes me sit down and play games, and I get to talk to people and have a laugh while I'm doing it. This podcast is absolutely, very much the fun side of what we do, and getting to chat to you guys. So those things will continue, but the more static stuff, certainly in the near future and longer, I just don't see myself doing it anymore. So that's going to be a big change from me, and it wasn't massively popular anyway, I don't think. So I don't think anything will really change. So that's where I'm at with it. Yes, right, on that one then. I will draw us to a close. We have been going for a good old time again, and we found loads and loads to talk about. In fact, once again, I had more things on our list, so these will up in future episodes. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much for doing so. If you've made it to this year with us, thank you very much for doing so. 1 year of the podcast, episode 12. Love to get your thoughts, as I said earlier, wherever you're listening to this, if you can have that 15-20 seconds moment of time, give us a comment, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, all of those things. It definitely helps, but the comment more than anything, so that we know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see from us in the future or hear from us. I think there's definitely a Christmas episode coming up. I'd love to talk about all of our thoughts and feelings from Christmas gone versus Christmases today. There's some great shows coming up, like Predator, like the Stranger Things series. There's loads of new gaming coming out as well. I think there's loads more for us to discuss. So the topics are going to be varied and interesting again. And I think that's it from us. Unless you guys have got any last words, Nerdy Geezer, any last thoughts?
Check out Drew Struzan's work. That's what I'm going to say. That's my closing thought. Check it out.
Yeah, give him a Google. Absolutely. Chef, yourself?
No, just enjoyed this. Looking forward to the next ones, boys. Thank you very much for the memories.
Yeah, awesome. Right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Ta-da! Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Joystick and let's explore pixel worlds behind that door. Dice are rolling, the board begins. Nerdy vibes for the wins. It's Geek bait, we're hooked for sure. cardboard pieces to virtual zones, the nerdiest fuel we've ever known. Laughing loud with geeky flair,